Hello everyone, this is my best try at trying to record this. I'm gonna put the phone here and hopefully this is gonna be, because then, the camera is on you, eh? Oh. No, why? Wait, because this camera is here, let me try something else then. Why it's not using the camera? Okay, listen, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna record here. Can I record here? Okay, and then I'm here with you. Fantastic. I'm gonna start. There was lots of little questions. There was different postures, and I'm gonna try to summarize some of the things. There was people that asked me about arm balances and balancing postures, like Utthita Hasta Padangustasana. And whenever you need to stop me or you have questions, you can stop me. Whenever the posture, it has a lot of balancing component, I have the tendency to not adjust. Why? Because we are stealing the opportunity of the student to really find that balance. If we are there helping, they might not be able to actually find the balance. So in crow pose, what's the point of us holding somebody? Right? So it's more like teaching them step by step how to do an asana rather than doing it for themselves. Same with Utthita Hasta Padangustasana. There's some people, can you do Utthita Hasta Padangustasana? Let's see if I do this. So if we're here and Anika is doing Utthita Hasta Padangustasana, I can come and I can help her by going with the hand up, right? I can help her to take it then forward. I can help her here. But then we are again stretching hamstrings. Okay, one of these. We're gonna be stretching hamstrings and we're not gonna be working on balance, because then the balance is on me. So when it's anything related to balance, I have the tendency to not adjust at all. We can put pillows in front of their face for crow pose. We can slightly put our hands there for them, but I don't know, like I don't have the tendency to adjust. Any question about that? No. Then Jed was asking Virabhadrasana A, how do we know that somebody is ready to deepen the knees a little bit more? And if there's any adjustment there. Again, is one posture, like we need to think about adjustments is how we can help someone to go deeper into the posture. And what happens in Virabhadrasana A, it's like, what is deeper into the posture, right? It's maybe to make the stance a little bit longer. So it's more about aligning the person and asking them to go a little bit more wide or to bend more the knee than actually us pushing. I know that there is some teachers that they pull the hands, but for me this is more like an alignment thing than an adjustment, right? It's telling someone to relax the shoulder, it's to tell them to elongate the arms, but it's not that much of like I'm pushing someone to get into the position. So here we need to make very clear separation in between what is adjustment from what is alignment, right? Any single posture we can help with alignment. Any single posture we can go and see if they can get into better in the posture. The other thing is adjustment. That is how I can help someone to go deeper into the posture. So it would be worth that you spend some time, like, what are all those postures that you are struggling to go deeper by yourself? For example, when you are doing a fourfold, you might have tight hamstrings, therefore you need to stop yourself from going deeper, right? When you are in a 4-4, if it's already pulling or if you are with the knees bent, just by extending the knees, you can go deeper by yourself. But if you are already like in Paschimottanasana seated, maybe then, Bon dia, Antonio, maybe then it's more difficult to have that extra sensation of go deeper. Then is when we push. When we are binding, right? There is a moment like, I want to bind and I cannot bind. That push of the shoulders, it helps you to go deeper. It's things that you can almost not go by yourself. You need that extra weight, that extra help. In Virabhadrasana A, if you are not going deeper, it's because you are not stepping any more farther. If you are not pushing the hands, it's because you are not lifting, right? Like the external force can really help you to go deeper. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. We can help to align someone, right? We can help here a little bit with the hips, but then if the stance is not good, we can put pressure onto the knee. So before thinking about the adjustment, it would be worth that you think about what I'm looking for in this posture, what I want my student to achieve in this posture. The other question that Jed has, it's also is more an alignment question, but I'm happy that it appears because it's something that we see a lot, and it's in Marichasana C. When we are twisted, there's lots of people that they are like crouching forward. See? Let me see if we can put the mat on the floor. It's not the case of Anika, but she's gonna pretend that she's crouching forward in. Is this working? If she's crouching forward, right? We have two options. One is to see if the problem is because a lack of flexibility. In that case, we can ask them to go in modification, to press the knee to the arm out. The other one is to try to lengthen. How? I'm going to push through the shoulders and then work on the twist. So trying to lift, I'm turning into this direction. So this hand goes into the shoulder, this hand goes into the rounded part, trying to lengthen. Imagine that she's in modification. Modification, and she's crouching here. Put this hand on the floor. Right? That she's really rounding. It's not the case here, but again, right? We can come here and help them to find that length and to tell them, push through the hands and find length here. You can put the hand on the top and be like, can you press your head towards me? So really finding length rather than this rounding. Thank you. Any question here about this? No. Good. Stop me at any moment. I'm gonna keep going. Who else is here? Francesca was like, oh, can you do a refreshment of downward facing dog and warrior 2 when the bum sticks out? Let's start with downward facing dog. There is many adjustments here.
Amelia?
See?
I don't know whether I'm the only person, but I see your name at the bottom. So maybe you could do the camera a bit more down.
Chip.
A bit more.
Chip.
Yes.
Like this.
Thank you.
So again, here we need to think of what's the goal of the posture and what do we want. And this posture is funny because it can look very different according to the person that we have in front. So what's the priority of downward facing dog? I'm asking you. Here. I'm asking. What's the priority?
That the back is very long.
That the back is very long, right? So which ways I have to extend it? I can come here and extend from here, right? So I'm pressing up. I can do the same from this side. Up. I'm really lifting and then pushing a little bit towards me, but really trying to find that length here. The problem that we had here is like, probably when you went back home and you started teaching, people don't look like this. People look like, can you bend your, can you really imagine that you are very, very tight, rounding your back, and she doesn't know how to make it wrong. It will be people really struggling rounding along their back, right? And when we are here, it's like, how do I adjust them? This is much more difficult, right? Because if I press here, it doesn't work, right? So we can help a little bit if they are here to turn the pelvis, to help with this like movement of turning the pelvis before we push. But if the knees are still bent and we push, it doesn't work either. We have the one with the strap that we've done. I think in every training I've done the one placing a strap on the hips and then pulling, but also coming on the thighs and pulling a little bit here, or just by staying on the hips and pulling back, telling them to bend the knees, going to high heels, and where we place them like closer into this position, telling them to go with belly touching the thighs, and that corrects a lot itself. Thank you. And again, if you think about it, like the adjustment is to go deeper into the posture. If the person is already struggling into the posture, do I need to push them? No, maybe what I can do is help them to find a correct alignment. Still with hands on, still with positioning them, but it's more like an alignment, right? Hey, your sitting bones more towards the sky. Put the weight a little bit more back. So it's guiding people into the right posture rather than I'm just gonna push. Why? Because in the moment that they need to go deeper, just by trying to lengthen the knees, they're gonna go deeper into the posture. So it doesn't make sense that we adjust someone who is already struggling. So all these people that they come into our classes and they are on the end of being very beginners or very tight, it's more like this soft push to guide them into the alignment rather than vroom. See? Does it make sense? And the second one that we had, it was Virabhadrasana B, when the bum sticks out, which is a very common one. So you want to go like here.
How should I like this?
Can you see her well?
Yeah.
Like surfers?
Yeah. Maybe if she can go a bit further toward, yeah, like this. Thank you.
Often it's this. Now, look at this, Can you take your tailbone under? In the moment that they take the tailbone under, it can go. Now, the tailbone is in a bit of a sensitive place, so you can go and you can help them to go a little bit down here. Now, the way that I place my hand is right on the bone part, right? And trying to stick. The other thing that can happen when you stick the bum out is that the ribs come out. So with your knee, you can go more into the leg, and then with the hands, you can adjust the ribs. It's less invasive because in the butt is my leg instead of my hands. And then I can adjust the hips being like, hey, and then take your tailbone under. You can, direct the motion. There is other adjustments here. Most of the time what we do is this movement here. But first I need to correct the alignment. So if I have somebody with the ribs out and the bum sticking out and I come here, it doesn't work. So first I need to correct that. That can be here, ribs in, and then I can come and adjust. See? It's a very common one. So verbally, tailbone under. If it doesn't listen, tailbone under. It can be just like sometimes with a little tap with the fingers. Can be, hey, tailbone under, ribs in. Or it can be more hands-on if somebody, we keep saying it and it doesn't work. Great. Then there was Lisa who mentioned pigeon pose. Pigeon pose, it's a tricky one. Because here the knee can be very sensitive. Now imagine that somebody's more like falling onto the side, right? Again, what do I want in this posture, right? Here it might be a little bit more in terms of alignment, maybe giving her a bolster or something on the outside. What happens is, like, if there is a sensitive knee and I press a lot, it can damage, right? However, to adjust in a pigeon pose, it could be by making go deeper into the posture. In that case, pigeon, it can be lying down, or the real pigeon is by going back. So here I could say, Anika, can you bend your back leg and try to go to touch your head? And I could help here with the hands. Can you bring the hands up? And from here, can you bring the elbows together? Good. And going more towards here. So with my leg, I'm holding her leg. With the hands, I'm trying to bring her hands closer towards the feet. But again, this is more for when people have a more advanced practice. When they are lying down, can you do a pigeon lying down? I would consider maybe it's not that much of an adjustment rather than a massage, right? We could come here, make sure that the shoulders are relaxed. We can come here and see if they can go a little bit more deeper. I don't have the tendency to adjust that much in pigeon, to be honest. It's more like a moment where I give like a little bit of hands attention rather than really pushing them. Because again, the knee, it's in a vulnerable posture. So unless it's someone that I know that the knee is fine and they are very deep, I don't have the tendency because it's in a vulnerable place. So it's going to be more like Thai massage squeezes rather than really pushing someone harder. Unless I have that student that is super open, and then I can really push them down a little bit more. But I encourage you to try the other one, the asking to go this way. You can also bring a strap and then try to bring the head closer towards their legs.
Yeah, because I was wondering, when do you decide, or like, when do you decide to go back or front? Because I feel like
when you prepare your classes, what do
Yeah.
you want? What do you want in your class? Do you want to work on the piriformis stretch, or do you want to open the front? Do you want it to be more like a back bend, or
Yeah.
do you want it to be about your piriformis? And I know, like, because in 200 hours we don't have really the time to go in that much depth in anatomy, right? We cover the basics to understand the body a little bit. Let me see. Oh, it's connecting with the other camera, I think. I don't know. It's not recording. You're gonna have to tell the group that I've been trying with the camera. It's not recording.
Yeah.
Once you so now we have the basics, but there is a point that putting postures together is not enough, and we want to give more sense to the classes. By applying more anatomy, it can be a way, but I understand that for that sometimes we need further education to understand more. For example, when I plan a vinyasa flow, often I say, okay, my intention is ahimsa, but I want to work in ahimsa with opening the pectoralis. So my class goes thinking about this. So if my theme is doing the pectoralis, for example, doing a pigeon pose lying down, it makes no sense. However, making a pigeon pose here, it might make not that much sense either. But I might make a pigeon pose where I go this way to grab the foot and push the foot back to open the pectoralis. So once you understand more the anatomy, it can help to manipulate postures. So it's not that much about when we are ready, it's rather you as a teacher. Why you choose to put the pigeon pose going down, or when you choose to put the pigeon pose going back.
Okay.
And if I choose to go back and my students are beginners, how I can do it? Or maybe with hooking a strap around the toes to pull the strap because no one is going to reach the toes. And then we have a difficult one, which is chaturanga. It's a difficult one, and there's lots of people that they don't know how to disassociate the movement of the shoulder from the movement of the spine. So imagine that you are doing on all fours, right? So a lot of people, what they do is they sink first into the chest and then they go down. Can you see me? No, wait. here. You need to tell me because
Can you put the camera more down?
more down,
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to also have the phone here, but is it working?
Yes, great.
Now, so she's back to neutral. Back to neutral. There is lots of people. What they do is before going into chaturanga, they drop the chest and they go down. And this it's very difficult because we are like no, push up, push up, push up, push up, push up, push up. Keep this here and then just move the elbow. And as soon as they start to bend the elbow, this sinks back down again. See? This happens a lot. Thank you. It was that, Caitlin, the big problem.
Yeah, that's the main issue I tend to see.
Yes,
Is bringing that awareness.
it's
up.
very difficult, but doing a lot of like isolating movements, exercises to bring awareness. So, can you do a lot of scapula push-ups? In all fours, okay, we are in all fours, we are doing scapula push-ups. Now we are just doing the cat and cow and starting to differentiate a lot the movements. Can we do the cat with bending? Can we do the cow and bending? And breaking it down as much as you can. It's a tough one. It's a tough one because I actually had someone this training that this was happening and she had a lot of mobility. So the more mobility we have, the more struggle it is, right? And she understood the concepts but then it's like once I'm in the body, it doesn't work. So, homework, scapula push-ups, chest, cat and cows, but just in the chest, and then trying to see, can I be doing the scapula push-ups when my chest is completely down? Can I do the scapulas when the back is completely up? And differentiating the movement of the spine, the upper spine, with the movement of the shoulder blade, and then understand that for chaturanga we need to block the movement in a place and not let it move. The only thing that we want to move is the elbow. All the rest, it should stay. So sometimes by doing it wrong, it can help us to understand the good. But I suggest, like, if you locate a student that this is happening, to ask them to stay 5 minutes after, it might also help. And then if you check and you see that the majority of the class is having this issue, it's time to offer a chaturanga workshop. Saturday morning, a special class, only dedicating to chaturanga, working pairs, the same as we did. I hope you took notes of, chaturanga workshop, because you can offer that. People will benefit a lot from spending an hour analyzing little things. So don't stay with the idea that as a yoga teacher, you need to do Ashtanga or Vinyasa. You can help a lot of people by breaking down things. Actually, people will love you if you do that, because if they go into a normal class, there is no time for questions, there is no time. So if you offer 1 hour of asana analysis, or people will love it. So I really encourage you to explore more that aspect. Also, as a practitioner, I don't know if you've noticed that when you were in this type of workshops in class here, and we were seeing others, sometimes it clicks in our brain because we see it on the outside. We see somebody doing something wrong, and then it's like, oh, I'm doing that as well, right? And sometimes by being able to observe on the outside, we can incorporate certain things in ourselves. We start questioning things that we thought it was normal, or we're starting to see it on the outside, and then you start questioning. So I really encourage you to start doing workshops.
Sure. What I tend to do is, what I tried once is also standing, having the hands on the wall, and just trying to drop on, feel the wings, the wing effect of the scapulas.
Did it work?
That tends to help. It helped that person in particular. I didn't do it every time. I guess what I'm still struggling with is seeing how the body moves differently depending on the type of body and spine that they have. like especially the people with a very rounded upper back, kyphosis is a bit affected. It's super hard to see the movement of the scapulas.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where I guess I struggle the most, because I'm like, I feel like they're doing it right, and I'm like, is it actually a little bit better, or is it me just willing to see a change and it's not actually working? But I guess that will come with with experience.
Poppy is one of our teachers, and she's a physiotherapist, and she says, when she's somebody, even if they come with a scoliosis, with a very wonky back, if there is no pain, you don't need to change anything. So when practicing, there's things that we might see that it hurts a little bit our eyes. So we can suggest and we can work and we can see how that goes. But if it's something peculiar about, like for me, it's like more like seeing the tension. For example, when I was seeing this student doing that, I could see, because she was struggling with the shoulder position, she ended up putting a lot of tension here, right? So if you see the person doing it in a way that it looks a little bit, but you see that they're doing it with ease, maybe it's not that bad. The problem is when you see that there is a lot of effort involved, and then maybe dropping the knees, it's the solution, eh? And if it's someone already dropping the knees, but taking weight, or lately I've been practicing all the time with blocks in my hands. My hands are a little bit higher, there is a little bit more weight into my legs, less weight into my hands. So like blocks for chaturangas are fantastic as well, with the knees on the floor, because it elevates the center of gravity and is less weight onto the shoulders.
Thanks for the precisions. It helps.
Fantastic. I'm gonna go back to the list, and here it's maybe more things that Judith mentioned, Warrior 1 and Warrior 2. And then, I don't know if this is still recording. Well, let me press again. Yes. There's a very interesting one from Melissa, who says, I always struggle with the alignment of reverse warrior. And the rule is, if you are in, can you do Virabhadrasana A? The thing is, we can reverse Virabhadrasana A and we can reverse Virabhadrasana B. So what determines the position is where you come from. It could be also reverse lunge. So if I'm here, you're gonna bring this arm up. Well, again, you can decide, if I want to work more on my psoas, I can reverse it with this one back. It's a more intense stretch. If I want to make it a little bit softer, I can go with the other arm. This is a little bit easier. So there is no a single way, rather than how intense you want to be. If it's in this position from Warrior 1, the legs wants to remain the same. What happens? That as soon as we reverse, we have the tendency that the hips come up. So you need to remember, no, come forward, keep pushing through the chest, keep pushing, tailbone under, and then trying to go back with the hand, which is different if we start from Virabhadrasana B. Right? So often when we say reverse warrior, we're starting from here, which is this hand, the one that's gonna go back. In that, back up. See? Now that other arm, what we do with the other arm, it can go around the hip, it can go on the leg, trying to go and reach as farther down as possible. Same thing, the knee. We're trying to keep that, because it's easier when we are in Virabhadrasana B to lift, to go back, and we need to be like, hey, no, that need to go. Now, the hips were open to the long edge of the mat. Therefore, the hips remain open to the long edge of the mat. Can you see the difference? When we are in Virabhadrasana 1, you can choose, do I want to go back with this hand, or do I want to go back with this hand, because both are here. So then you need to analyze what is more useful. If it's Virabhadrasana B, again, the cueing, it can be like flip the hand and go back, or it can be flip and move forward to go back. We want to open here without lifting, keeping the knee down. Again, I can collapse on my back, or I can open from the front. I want to lengthen and then move back. I want the stretch in the front of the body, not on the back. So the alignment of reverse warrior is depending if it's reversing warrior 1 or warrior 2. If I'm in warrior 1, the hips remain square to the short edge of the mat. If I am reversing warrior 2, the hips remain to the long edge of the mat. And then as anything going back, I need to think that I don't want to feel it on the lower back rather than in the front. So I want that length on the chest, hips forward, tailbone tucked under. So maybe the goal would be to align properly the warrior, and once that a warrior is well aligned, then it's just the movement of reaching forward and going back. Why I say that sometimes we go forward, and because depends on where you put it into the flow, you might end on an exhalation or inhalation sometimes when we do those one breath, one movement. So here, imagine that I'm doing, inhale into into Virabhadrasana A, exhale into reverse. It doesn't fit completely, right? So I can be inhale into warrior 1, exhale, bring the right arm down, it's my left, exhale here, inhale to lengthen up. So I can add one more breath to match it with what I need. You know, when we have like this reverse and reach, it's those elements that you can manipulate according to your flow. Questions about that? I feel I'm like taka 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 ta. Then there was a couple of questions about Salambar Sarvangasana, which I feel is a very interesting one to adjust, because it's one of the most common ones that we put in the flows, and that is easy to help and it feels very good. So if we have somebody in shoulder stand, let's see. Right, the intuition is to go here and to just pull. If you do that, you might damage your lower back. It's very easy to damage your lower back because it's a lot of weight in a very bad position. So unless you are much taller than the person, which is not the case, if I'm doing this, I'm gonna really struggle. So instead, it's quite invasive. You come through the middle, you turn the arms. You need to think it's like you are swimming. You come from the middle and you turn around. Come from the middle, I turn around. From here, I can ask her to bend slightly her knees, then I can pull up, and then either I ask her to bring the elbows in, or I can help with my toes to bring them a little bit in. And I don't stay. I just bring her back to the middle, and then I go. Thank you, Nico. I go in and around. Why? Because here I have a good grip. I am much lower than working here. No good for me, eh? For them it's okay, unless you are super tall and super strong. It's not my case. So I need to be using a little bit more the strategy. Coming around, grabbing. Here I can be strong and I can do it with my legs. I'm not pulling with my back. I'm really doing the motion with my legs. What happens if someone is not completely straight? I don't know if I'm going to go there and adjust them, right? Unless I see that they are struggling to really place the hands on the back. We don't need to adjust everything. If we see that that person, by lifting them, they're going to have the space to bring the elbows closer together. If they have the elbows very up, I can go and help. And it's one of those postures that because we're staying a little bit longer, you can do 4 or 5 people in one class. You go, clack, you go, clack. Then Catherine asked for Parshvakonasana, but I don't know which one, so I'm gonna leave it here. Maybe I can contact her and just ask exactly which one she means. And the other one is headstand, how we help in headstand. Remember that there is some rules, and it's I'm not placing myself behind them because there is a high chance that the heel hits my face. I don't grab both of the legs at the same time. In the moment that I'm grabbing both of the legs, the person feels that doesn't have the control anymore, and it's when people freaks out. You need to tell them. If you manage to tell them that they have the control, the chances of succeeding, it just like skyrockets than if you are holding. Because a person that is upside down, already not knowing where they are or what you say, not being able to listen you, and freaking out, if you are holding and they fall, it's not nice. So always one leg free to let them come down whenever they need. There's people that it's not that they are not strong enough, that they are not able to hold. It's like the fear of getting upside down. It's something completely new. It's something that I don't have the control. So often it's just working more through the emotion of getting upside down than actually doing it. Now, how we help as any inversion with a scissor lift. It's offering a place where to push. Lots of people, they struggle with headstand because there is no enough flexibility in the hamstrings to find that place. So it's just giving them somewhere where to press to find the middle ground. So I'm gonna try to go back here. We're gonna say elbows, elbows. We're here, bring the elbows closer together. And I'm gonna be like, bring this knee towards the chest. And I'm here. This hand is the one pressing down. Can you press me down? And the other one lifts, right? For her, it's easy because she knows how to do it already. What happens often is that that knee goes away. If this knee goes out, it's very difficult. So knee towards the chest, and I'm here. Once she's up, I change. Then I'm holding the other one. Why? Because if she has enough, this leg goes down and that's it. And if not, we can be like this leg up. If they are very bubbly, then be careful if you are in the back with the feet. But I can be controlling a little bit here, but always, always, always one leg free. Thank you. See? Is there any other question that came up through this that you want to do before we wrap it up?
Yet put a question in the comment.
Ah, wait, because my phone is just in front. Comment.
It says, what to do when you see somebody collapses their neck shoulders. I had a student who did this and complained of neck pain afterwards, but when I could push the floor away, keep the neck and spine long and shoulders away from ears, her alignment didn't change.
Chaturanga.
No, headstand as well.
Ah, headstand. Explain them that normally what happens is when somebody is afraid, this is what happens. So really asking them to be here and tell them if you are here, all goes in there. So you want to really keep that alignment there. And then where they put the weight into the head might be also a change. If they put the weight too far forward, they stay more here. So they need to go more towards the full top of the head to be able to do it. So check where full is the weight, because if it's too far forward, they go more into this clench. Check also the elbows. The tendency is that the elbows are too far wide, quite close. And then if it's someone that is very tight, is the case? Someone very tight, Jed? No. You can, You can try with tripods then and see if they can manage to do that push, even without putting the full weight onto the heads, right? Just like going more like in a tripod. Let me see if I can show you. Can I? So going from here and doing shoulders, I don't know how to do it, shoulders push up. But again, if they have the head into the good place, you can play a little bit when they are in knees on the floor in this position, and that they avoid this, because often what happens is not that much this, it's like this. So finding on a tripod is harder to be in this position. Here, it's easier to be in this position, while here, it's a little bit more difficult. Maybe you can try?
I can just chime in again. Yet is writing, she was very scared of headstand though. We did a tripod, and that is when she got neck pain.
Okay, then maybe the talking and be like, hey, let's break it down. You don't need to go upside down. We're just gonna work with this position first, and once the neck is gonna be in a good position, we'll try to go up. But maybe for the next weeks is just like trying to find that without going up. And you tell them, and you can tell them, like, once I'm gonna see that your neck position is good, we can reconsider all this going upside down. So far this is not good, so I don't want you to go up with this neck here, till they build this trust of like, okay, she's not gonna let me go up if my neck is in a bad position. So building that trust, but more over time. Like, there's people who are massively scared, so it the fear doesn't live with one day. Thank you. And then I have Antonia that lift her hand.
Yeah, I have like a question or some questions about overall guiding.
What?
So it's like when I have, for example, a yoga class with 13 students, right? And it's like I'm teaching powerfully, so I have to keep up the pace at the same time and have like the overview, and I could maybe like adjust 8 different people because I see that they are doing the posture wrong, but I also have to keep up the pace, It's like, what do you have some advice like how to guide the best? And is it then better to say, okay, I'm guiding this guy in this posture, and then I don't have time to guide me in the next posture, so I choose someone else to guide in the next posture. Do you get my point?
Yes, for me, my rule is if I adjust somebody on the right, I'm going to adjust the same person on the left. If you have a very large room of people, you might not be able to adjust everyone. Either you get an assistant, that adjusts while you teach, or you prioritize things. So maybe instead of adjusting, you just align when you see things that they are doing, because it's the priority, right? That people doesn't get hurt. Adjusting in vinyasa classes, it's tough. So choose those postures where, like, for example, if you do 5 sun salutations, you know that you can adjust 5 downward facing dogs.
Yeah.
Right? Choose the ones that you feel more comfortable with.
The people, the students?
The adjustment.
Yeah, okay.
But then it's so much that you can do in a class, right? So if you have 40 people, adjusting everyone in a class, it might be tricky.
Yeah.
For me, for example, here at Nydum, as soon as we pass from 10 students, 10, 12, we have an assistant in the morning.
Okay.
So normally my ratio here at Nydum is 1 teacher for every 10, 12 students. But I understand that in a studio, they might tell you, this is it.
And also, would you like, is it better to, so I tend, because I'm still pretty new and still nervous, so I tend to do the whole 75-minute flow, like going, and I would like to be better at just writing with words, you know what I mean? But I'm a little bit scared of getting off my mat and go out and, address people.
This needs practice. This needs practice. It needs you start with things that you feel more comfortable. For example, challenge for the next class, the sun salutations. You can make them easy, but you don't do them. You do the first one and you don't do the next ones, and see how you feel. And once you see that the sun salutations start working, what do you do?
I walk around and just,
Exactly, but start by the things that you are more comfortable with.
Like,
It's very
don't think
hard
about-
to guide the full flow just with your voice if it's vinyasa. Ashtanga, for example, because it's repetition, it gets easy. I can teach a full Ashtanga class barely showing.
okay.
In a vinyasa, it's much more struggling. Now, what are the postures where you can stop doing? So if it's a flow that is very moving, you're gonna have to be there. But imagine that in my flow, I do inhale, knee to the chest, 5 breaths here to warrior 3, right? Once everyone is in warrior 3, I can stop going there and be like, okay, come and push my hands, right? So use it to encourage the students to move more. So when you see somebody that is in warrior 3, let's see. I'm in warrior 3 and I'm very floppy, and you see someone, can you see my back leg here? Right? I can be 5 breaths here, 1, press through your heel, and you can go there and tap the heel and be like, okay, press more here, press more here. So use it to, at the beginning, with the certain postures that you are holding, but then it's keeping the pace at the same time that you move from the mat. And then, like, choose the ones that imagine that after warrior 3 you land into high lunge, right? It's an easy transition that everybody knows, everybody's familiar with, right? So you can go out, and while you are walking around, you can be like, okay, last breath. Now drop the back leg into high lunge as you walk to the top of the mat, and you catch up people there to be on the next exhalation, twist to the left. So you need to find those moments in your flow that is a little bit easier for you to leave the mat. And at some point it's gonna come natural, but at the beginning, if it doesn't come, we need to kind of like, okay, plan it. In which place I'm gonna leave my mat today? Okay, let's start with sun salutations. And after that, I stay in the mat, showing everything. Once you've done it 2-3 days, that sun salutation feels familiar with leaving and going to adjust, then you add something else. And slowly, like building that trust in yourself and having the control of the class.
Okay. But obviously,
Sorry? See?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Is there any other question?
I would have a question.
Yes?
So, could you show us how we as teachers can learn the jump through from the vinyasas, from the sitting postures?
As teachers, we can learn the jump through.
Yeah, how we can learn them.
You remember that we did a full workshop of an hour and a half about it?
Okay.
Because it's something that is not like, oh, I'm just going to give you and it's going to work, right?
Yeah.
So you want the one from seated to?
To seated again.
From downward facing dog to seated.
Yeah.
Remember we did it with the blocks? We grabbed the blocks and we said look forward and try to jump, and then we said that, I don't know if I can do the full thing now here. I was like try to go with this leg forward and then with the other one to scoop before going down.
Mm-hmm.
Remember we did a lot of drills. It's not something that is like sortable in one question, because it's like the work of drills rather than it's I don't know if you have notes about your transition workshop.
Probably I have that.
So maybe what you want is to recover those transition workshop. I don't know if I've recorded anything on the last training. I'll have a look.
I did on the March training actually. I got Poppy to do like a walkthrough of the drills, where it's like 2 minutes each, I think, for
Yes,
each
you,
of the.
you did have that.
Yeah, so I can
but
share that with you.
I'll ask Poppy first.
Yes.
I'll ask Poppy first, just because I know that, you know, it's her property, so I'll ask if we
Yeah, of
can
course.
use it. But I'm sure, like, if you Google drills to get back into jump through, you're gonna find plenty of exercises. So it's more like a difficult question to answer just on this
Thank you.
5 minutes. But I'll see. I'll talk to Poppy if she has the video of the drills. Well, I know that Lisa has them. And then
I can see Yet also wrote that she actually has some of you, Amelia, doing the transitions.
you have some of me.
Yeah, or Yet does.
Yeah, definitely we can share that ones with Marie. But I would suggest you also, Marie, to go back to your notes, because I'm sure you have them. And I'm sure if you check through the videos of our group, I'm sure that they're going to come to your mind as well. And it's just a matter of practicing and trying them. It's something that it takes time. Fantastic. Any other question about binds? How do we help students to get their hands closer to each other, for example, in Marichasana? Great. Can you go? So I can just move computer a little bit. In A. So often what we have, it's people that the hands are far apart, right? And often the hands are very close to the bum. The first thing is to show them that if you try to grab the hands underneath your bum, it's very hard. I can barely reach. But if I bring my hands closer to my back, I can bind. So the first thing that we need to them understand is, like, the higher they go into the back, the easier it will be to bind. So once we are here, we can help them to try to see if they can go higher. Once they are higher, they might be still far apart. You grab from above the elbow in both sides and you squeeze. You might have to grab with the elbow and lift a little bit. See? So I'm grabbing from here and I'm trying to reach their hands higher into the back rather than leaving them closer towards the bum. For some people it's going to be easy. For some people, just to bring the hands up, it doesn't work. That depends a lot about where also the knee is. If the knee is very far apart, if you bring the knee like hanging out separate from here. If the knee is out, it's very difficult to go. So the alignment of that the feet needs to be separated from the thigh is to make sure that this knee can squeeze in. If we don't have this squeeze in, it's very hard to go around. The elbow stick will be useful for any bind in any place. Now, specifically in Marichasana A, we want to have that squeeze of the leg in.
I have asked where exactly on the bottom of the
Antonia, I can barely hear you. I don't know if there's any option that you speak more to a microphone, like. No. Or can you type it?
I think your headset is picking up on every sound except for you.
Sorry?
Is it better now?
I can hear Luisa. I cannot hear Antonia. Now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I just had a student in my class asking where exactly in the body Marichasana is supposed to like work, and I was a little bit unsure. Is it like in the hips or in the shoulder?
Marichasana A?
Yeah.
Both?
Both, right?
Because there is many things happening, right? If you analyze the extended leg, you are stretching the hamstrings. but then you are also working on the compression on the other leg, and then you have the spine having to move forward, and then the bind on both shoulders. So it's, for me, Marichasana A is just a posture in Ashtanga that prepares us for the Supta Kurmasana. Right? Is that first one where we're going to have the knee compressing into our body that we're going to need after for being able to do Kurmasana and Supta Kurmasana.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question? Do you have a question? No? Should we wrap it up here? Thank you all for attending. Marie will make you arrive some drills. I'm also going to check what I have available through the last, because I've been recording classes, I'll check. And if not in the June training, I can make it consciously to record all the drills to share it. And that's it. Good continuation in teaching. I'm here, I'm available. Even if I don't plan one of those, if time to time you have a question, make sure that you drop it. Also, if you are interested in those type of workshops and you ask me questions, it's much easier for me to make the commitment to it. So, you know, I think it's a both ways cycle rather than just me pushing to do something. It's nice if you have a question and you know that other people will benefit as well. So maybe what we can do is make another meeting about transitions at some point where we get the computer into the shala and we do together the transition workshop again, but everyone in their homes, because I know that it's fun, but then when you are on your own, it's very hard to get into a mat and work specifically on those drills of transition. So maybe we can make it a thing, maybe.
Great idea. That would be so much fun.
Great. Antonia wants to say something.
Yes.
I cannot hear you. Ada, yeah?
How long time in Shavasana would you recommend for a class?
Minimum 5 minutes. Minimum.
Okay. Yeah.
From 5 to 10. If you're teaching a 2-hour class, maybe you can even extend it slightly more, but minimum 5.
Minimum 5.
Nothing
okay.
shorter than 5.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Good continuation to everyone. Looking forward to hear again from you. And we'll stay in touch.
Thank you, Melia, for your time.
Thank you. Have a wonderful
Thank
day.
you so much.
Thank you,
See ya.
Anika.
Thank you, Melia. Thank you for sharing.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.